Hello, everybody. I am Bebo, and we are here today to talk about Alderquest.
Hi, I'm Ryan Ward. I designed Alderquest with Mike Ganade of Rock Manor Games. Alderquest is a head-to-head sort of skirmishing puzzle game where you're trying to collect acorns before the start of winter, more acorns than your opponent.
That is adorable. And this is your first game design?
It is, yes.
So what inspired the game?
Great question. I'm a big fan of different kinds of games, specifically head-to-head card games, but also match 3 games. So the game has a strong match 3 element. I haven't seen that done a lot on the table, and I had some ideas for how to do it in an original way on and off the table. And so I thought this would be fun to be able to play with friends and family.
That's fantastic. So had you been interested in game design before you started this?
Oh, I sure was, yeah. So I had been designing games for a few years with no audience whatsoever until, before I got this opportunity to do Alderquest. So, it sort of clicked. So,
How did you meet the company you're working with?
actually, I met the publisher, Mike Ganade, through a friend. And so that was how I got an opportunity to pitch with Mike, and he liked the idea a lot, and we started working on it together.
So tell us a little bit about the artwork and how it helps bring your game to life.
This is my favorite question because when I got the opportunity to do the game, Mike was gracious enough to say, hey, I want to do this according to your vision. You have ideas about the art. And I said, I have this great friend who's a professional illustrator, and I've never really seen art like his done on the tabletop. And indeed, you just don't see it often enough. So I wanted something that was sort of lighthearted and cheeky, but also really cool. And the artist's name is Lawrence Hugh Burns. You should check him out on Instagram. And I gave him really sort of minimal prompts. We need this kind of animal doing this, looking like this. And he would just really blow our minds with what he came up with.
That's super fantastic to hear. How did you end up meeting with them?
Meeting with?
Lawrence.
Oh, with Lawrence? Actually, he's a friend. My wife knew him back from living in Philly, where we are today. And, I met him sometime later, and we just stayed in touch. And when I finally had this opportunity, he was the first person that came to mind.
That's so cool. So you're like getting your friends' work through the work that you're doing for other publishers.
Yes, I hope so. I mean, it's important, like as a designer, I just want to, if I have opportunities to showcase great art from talented artists who are not well known enough or who haven't had this kind of opportunity, I definitely want to share that,
Do you have plans for future tabletop games that you want to design?
I'm always working on different designs. I think we'll see how this one goes. We did have a failed or canceled Kickstarter. We launched the week before Thanksgiving, not a very friendly time for Kickstarters.
It's pretty difficult out there at that time.
We will relaunch in January. We'll see if we do better and get to actually make this game. If we do, I have a good feeling that maybe you'll see me again.
Awesome. So before we go, tell us a little bit about Alderquest and the world that it's set in. That way everybody knows what they're getting themselves into when they sit down to play it for the first time.
Sure. So when you play Alderquest, whether you're playing one-on-one or two-on-two or one-on-two, each team will always be controlling 2 of the guilds of the world known as Alaron. There's been a summons from the high councils that there's a need to recognize a new guild as the preservers of the realm. Okay, these are they help protect the realm from unwanted threats or from any disharmonious influence, because Alaron's a sort of peaceful place. It's inhabited by animals who don't take their world for granted. So you might be playing as the thieves and the bards, and I might be playing as the guardians and the hunters. Either way, we're both after each other's acorns before the start of winter, but I'm using my heroes to spend my actions. The game uses a simple action economy. I'm summoning minions and moving around the field to try to capture your acorns and hopefully not run into your traps. And I'm manipulating the match 3 board in different ways that takes on a kind of push your luck feel because I'm spending actions to manipulate that board. Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I mean, you've got to really make the characters motivated to,
yes.
If they're going to be harming the other players, it's got to come at a cost, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So what did you learn from your first campaign, having it not funded, that you could pass on to maybe somebody who's in the same situation?
Yeah, I think it's important to build an audience beforehand, right? You don't want to be coming out like completely new to everybody. And so we did a demo Alderquest, for the last couple of years at different conventions. So we did have some folks who were expecting this game, that helped us have a little bit of energy at launch. So I always recommend that, be it mailing list or whatever, social media, to get folks interested. You also want to make sure that you communicate really clearly what your game is about. We definitely got some feedback that folks were a little unclear on sort of which mechanics in the game were most prominent, because if you like a certain style of game, like you might be looking for that style or not.
Yeah.
Other than that, don't launch in late November. Yeah.
That's completely fair advice.
Yeah.
Well, it was great chatting with you.
Yeah.
Are there any other campaigns live right now that you want to give a shout out to before we go?
Yeah, live right now, Ducks in Tow is still going. They funded recently. That game looks super cute and really innovative, I think, for like a worker placement.
It's also just very good.
Yes. No, watching the videos, I think it's clear, like if you look at the cards and everything, like it's clear that there's like a lot of depth there too, which is really neat for a game that has a really approachable theme, like for the family. So that's one I'll definitely be backing. So I'm excited about that.
Well, it was fantastic meeting you. Thank you for joining me. And thank you everybody for watching. Make sure that you join the Tabletop Backer Party group on Facebook if you want to keep an eye out for more of these interviews. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.